Boo. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy. Christmas time is coming up, so I hope everyone is able to spend time with their family, with their friends, and just have a safe and healthy rest of the year. So lately I've been getting messaged on Instagram from people who have seen my apartment tour video. If you haven't seen that, you can check it up here, my apartment tour video, and people who have seen my other vlogs while I've been in Korea. And they mostly are curious about what's it like living here in Dongtan, and just as well as teaching in Korea during COVID. So I thought it would be a pretty helpful video for you guys, for anyone who is considering coming here. Like, let you guys know sort of what's it like from the inside. Because if you are in a different country and you're seeing news and you're seeing information, it might not give you the full picture. So I want to help you guys out with, so you can sort of make decisions and decide if coming is going to be a good option for you. So I do want to start out with, despite what you might have heard about Korea doing super well during the pandemic and how well they've been fighting the virus, don't be mistaken. It has taken its toll on Korea. Many businesses have shut down, restaurants, you name it, many things have shut down, including schools, particularly Hagwons, the private schools. So if you are interested in teaching at a public school, for example, doing Epic or Talk or something like that, I wouldn't worry a lot about it, because those are a bit more stable. But Hagwons particularly have been shutting down quite a bit. Those that haven't shut down have moved to online, but I'll talk a bit about that later. So as far as job prospects go, I'm going to be honest, there are less opportunities for most people. There are less opportunities in general compared to, let's say, this time last year, or compared to when I was applying for jobs last year, just because more schools have shut down. Many more schools have shut down. So just keep that in mind, first of all, when you're thinking of coming here or not. I don't think necessarily you have to do more to be qualified to get a job. Like, I don't think you have to necessarily do more schooling or anything necessarily about you that you have to change or improve on, but just to let you know that it might be a bit difficult going forward to find a job, because, as I said, many schools are shutting down. Many schools are a bit hesitant, at least my school, to hire people from outside of Korea. I think they're preferring to go with people who are already in the country, who have just finished an old contract, or for whatever reason are here already. Again, as far as coming to Korea, that's up to your city, your state, your country, whatever. I'm not sure about that. But as far as coming here, you still have to complete your quarantine. I believe it's about 14 days. So schools take that stuff into account. They take that into as far as whether or not it's likely for you to get your documents, how risky it is depending on which country you're coming from, how long quarantine takes, on top of already like visas and stuff like that and background checks. So you can imagine how much more difficult it will be to secure a job and to even start the application process. So I would keep that in mind if I were you. Like I said before, public schools, if you're applying to Epic and Talk, I believe the enrollment, the intakes have decreased. I don't think they're looking for as many teachers because the demand probably isn't as high as it usually is. So even if you're looking into public schools, like, you'll definitely feel like the squeeze somewhere eventually. So by the way, this is editing Devante. I'm just looking at the Epic website now, and I saw that if you do come in the spring, they are making you pay for your quarantine, which is from about 1.4 to 2.1 million won. So anywhere from basically like maybe I'd say $1,100 to maybe like $1,800 or so. So just keep that in mind. So assuming you are able to take care of the documents and take care of the quarantine and stuff like that, when you actually do get here, be prepared for online classes. Absolutely be prepared for online classes. As I said before, Korea has I'm not going to gas Korea up anymore because like right now we're kind of going through it right now. I don't know if you know, but cases have been spiking up to record highs pretty daily. So I'm not going to gas Korea up too much right now. And the vaccine thing, who knows what's going on with that. But as far as coming here and you're about to teach, expect online classes, absolutely. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but Korea does have a tier system as far as their restrictions go in regards to the pandemic. Currently, we're on level 2.5 and they are considering going to level 3. But I believe when it comes to level 2, that's when schools are going offline and that's when students have to be at home for class. Like there's no coming in person. So be prepared for that because we are certainly not in the clear yet. Probably not for another few months into 2021. So most likely when you come here, you're going to be doing online classes either when you first get here, a month or so after you get here, or somewhere down the line. When I first started, I did about a month in person because this was before the virus even came to Korea. And when our new semester started in March, that's when shit just hit the fan. So we did pre-recorded classes, then we transitioned to Zoom for about a month or so, 2 months. And then finally the restrictions were loosened, then people were able to come back to school, and then everything was fine for that month and the next semester. And then again, lockdown, we have to go back to Zoom. Well, I say lockdown, but basically restrictions were placed, not a lockdown, but restrictions were placed in such a way that we couldn't do in-person classes anymore. Since the virus started back in March, we've had to go back to Zoom I believe this is maybe the third or fourth time we've had to go back to Zoom. So be prepared for that. If you have never taught online, I wouldn't be super worried about it, but just know that it's like some people have it easier than others. Some people really don't like it. Some people love it a lot, but know that it's going to happen. It probably will happen. And if your school doesn't do it, then they'll probably shut down because if students can't literally come to your in-person classes and your school doesn't offer online classes, then your school probably is going to shut down because how are they making money? Along with that, prepare for instability. These are trying times. I think most schools have either shut down already or they have transitioned over to online. Like that kind of initial like weeding out period of which schools are going to make it and which schools aren't going to make it. I think that's already occurred. My school, we made it because we transitioned to Zoom, so it's been going okay. But even so, prepare for instability. 1 week you could be doing in-person classes. The next week you could go back to Zoom. Like it really fluctuates. In that regard, prepare for possibly your school doing some kind of weird shit. I'm not gonna lie, like they might pull some. Oh, you couldn't work this day, so you have to work this day. Oh, you have to come in for this or come for. I don't want to get too deep into specifics about it, but like there are times where like, and again, like it's not anyone's fault. It's the virus and there's only so much control you can have, but just be prepared that there's going to be some hurdles, some random things that your school may ask you to do or may need you to do. And just make sure, especially make sure now that you're applying for jobs before you get your contract, make sure you're reading your contract very closely because, just make sure you're reading it very closely. If you have to go to Reddit, there is a subreddit called Teaching in Korea, and you could paste your contract and they can read over the terms for you. But make sure you look over your contract very clearly because especially in these times, I'm sure many schools are going to be trying to add like situations and words into the contract that'll maybe give them some kind of weird power over you that you don't necessarily want. Make sure when you're interviewing with schools, like you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen in case things go online again. When things go back offline, you know if schools are going to try to pull, oh, you couldn't work this day because we have to do online, so you have to come into this day. Make sure you ask these questions beforehand. It might be uncomfortable, but these are questions that you want to ask. These school owners, like they know what kind of situation they're in, and they're going to try to do whatever they can to claw their way out of it. And Honestly, it may involve stepping on you sometimes, so you just have to be very, very careful with your contract and just I don't know, just be aware of what you're getting yourself into. I hope that made sense. Also, be prepared for masks. If you are in the US right now or any other country, like maybe widespread enforcement of mask wearing has already taken place, but here they don't really play with that. Wear your mask. You have to be wearing your mask basically 24/7. If you walk outside of the street, like nobody should be seeing your mouth or your nose. You have to be wearing a mask. In my school, we have to wear a mask all the time. I get a box of 50 masks like every few weeks or so from Coupang, and I just have them ready. So don't be surprised by the mask thing, please. As far as the state of affairs with living here during the pandemic, many things have shut down or at least been restricted. Like as I said before, we're not on a full lockdown compared to many other countries, but as I speak now, as of today, there are many restrictions as far as like, for example, restaurants can only offer takeout and delivery after 9 p.m. Cafes don't allow sitting in at any time of the day. Things like movie theaters and maybe notabangs and other places too have restrictions on them. If we go to level 3, then they'll all probably be sort of like completely locked down, like not allowed at all. So just be prepared. Like as I said before, it's kind of like uncertain times, so you never really know what's gonna happen. Do I think it's a good idea to come here now? Sure, I think it's a good idea. Like despite what I said about like the potential lockdowns, it's pretty like free, I guess. You can still, as of now, go to a restaurant if you want to. I don't think many people are. You could still, as of now, go outside. You just have to wear your mask and go to like department stores and malls as of now. If you find the school that's still open, then they'll probably be pretty stable. Especially if they're a public school, they'll probably definitely be stable. So you'll have job security somewhat, depending on which school, what type of school you're going to. I also want to mention some stuff that I've heard about specifically as being a foreigner here. This was more so a problem, but when the pandemic first started. But believe it or not, Koreans haven't been super friendly towards foreigners in regards to the virus. You can imagine the things that were kind of said about Chinese people, the things that students may say particularly. But in general, there seems to be sort of a foreigners are the result of this for some reason. I don't know. I don't know because if you look at the numbers, it doesn't make any sense. But be prepared for it. It seems to mostly stem from like older people and parents of the students at your schools. Probably, I've heard many stories of teachers having to be tested for the virus because of parents' concerns. I've heard of being questioned as far as like, you know, where you've been on the weekend when outbreaks have happened. And nothing truly horrible I've heard, but I just be prepared. Like people may be looking at you sideways. Like there are many a times when an ajumma or an old lady has moved away from me on the bus. Again, I'm not gonna make a super big deal out of it. Just know that like there is some sort of underlying prejudice against there's obviously going to be prejudice against like dark skinned people like me, but against foreigners, like as of now, like especially in Itaewon, I'm not sure if you know about that, but it's an area where there's a lot of foreigners. Itaewon, oh my god, there's an area with a lot of foreigners and a lot of clubbing and there's like a sort of gay community there. That area has been eviscerated by the pandemic. Not necessarily because anyone died or anything like that. There was sort of like a spike in cases a few months back there, but because of that and because of, I guess, the amount of foreigners and like the gay people there, like that neighborhood has just been sort of kind of like abandoned, to be honest. It used to be pretty bustling, pretty fun, but many people now have these like prejudice and stereotypes against that area. So it's not nearly like the same place it used to be. It's pretty sad actually, but it kind of just goes to show you like the general like the general tude of people when they're in fear and they don't really know what to do and they're looking for answers. So that was just a really bad repercussion of the virus and sort of just kind of like ignorance and prejudice. But I say all that to say that at the end of the day, I think it still is a good idea if you want to come here and teach. When things do settle down, hopefully if they do, I think you'll have a great time here and I think you won't regret it. And if you do have any more questions, please let me know down in the comment section below. If you want to see my adventures, I don't post very often, but you can follow me on Instagram at dwhitley. And if you do like the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you want, you can subscribe. I think I'll be doing more videos like this where I talk about my experiences here. If you guys want to know, let me know in the comments what you guys want to see more of in my videos. And yeah, so I hope you guys have a happy rest of the year. I don't know if this will be my last video of the year. Maybe, maybe not. But I don't know. I'll see you guys possibly in 2021 or possibly maybe next week. Either way, have a good rest of the day or morning or afternoon, whatever. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.